Hello and welcome to the Borealis Experience. I'm your host Aurora and I'm very grateful to have you here today and to spend some time with you. If you want to unwind from your busy day, if you want to rest and relax, then this is the place to be. Today I want to talk about resilience. Resilience has been a huge topic for all of us during COVID. Many people were challenged on so many levels all at once and struggle with depression, loneliness, mental health in general, and just feeling powerless and hopeless. And I think it's most important to talk about resilience because it's during these times where we feel lonely and have the time actually to reflect about how we live, that we can work on our resilience for the future. And those tools, those thoughts can even help us right there in the moment. So I'm very excited to be posting this episode today because I feel I can give you a lot of things to think about and act upon that will make you feel good. Maybe not instantly, but within a day or two. So the number one thing is, what is resilience? So that we define resilience. Resilience is that when we encounter a stressful situation, adversity, that we have the tools, the confidence, the positivity in our bag to face that challenge gracefully. And in doing so, we need to be open-minded, and I don't like to say we have to have a plan B, but think of a contingency plan where you have several resources to reach one goal. So if happiness, if well-being is your one goal that you want to reach right now, then you have to have several tools that can get you there. You cannot just focus on one thing, because this is what made it so hard for so many people with COVID. If it was people who were very extroverted and outgoing and sporty, group sports, for example, and this was all taken away from you within 24 hours, then very quickly you would retreat and give up and feel hopeless, because sitting on a couch at home and watching Netflix all day long is not what brings you happiness. But we have to have that plan B to be more resilient. So if you are a very sporty person and only focus on that, this is awesome and remarkable. But think about the bad things that can happen, and I'm resisting here to say bad things because I don't want you to focus on the negatives now, but I want you to be more resilient in having an open mind and knowing that if one thing is not possible to do, then you can go back to that other thing that you like to do as well, that brings you joy as well. So as a sports person, maybe you can discover that you're very crafty and that you love to paint, and it brings you so much joy. It stimulates your creative side of the brain, and it is okay then to not go out and be sporty, but to paint instead. And this is just a very simplified example, but I think you know what I mean. When it comes to relationships, you cannot just focus on one person. You can't get everything from one person. It is not possible. You'd be overwhelming that person. And for a lot of couples who are stuck in an apartment now, I can see that happening, because the one person is maybe very clingy, the other person needs more space, and you can't really maybe communicate that at the moment, because you've never been caught in an apartment, and then the fighting starts and the discontentment. So when it comes to relationships, you have to maintain your friendships, you have to nourish your friendships, and you cannot expect everything from your partner, because imagine that partner going away or you guys breaking up. Then, of course, the breakup would challenge you on so much higher intensity than if you had kept your friendships close at the same time. So those are two examples that I want to bring here. Then there is purpose. Do you feel a sense of purpose? And if not, then I want to tell you that it is so easy to feel fulfilled in serving others and to feel a sense of purpose. Facebook is awesome for that. When you look at all the people complaining and all the opinions that there is out there, you can find so many non-for-profit organizations, and just connect with people who are active, who are changing the world, and you don't even have to be leaving your apartment. You can be on your computer right there and investigate where you want to put your energy and feel purposeful. Or you can ask people around you if they need your help, if they need your resources, and it will give you a huge sense of satisfaction if you have that little something that can support others. In supporting others, you help them to be more resilient, and in doing so, you create a beautiful friendship or a good, solid bond, and in return, you are resilient too. Like, it's a total win-and-win situation when you help another person to be more confident and more resilient. Then there's the positive focus. If you think about change, and change is a nuisance to you, and change is always challenging for you, you will have to come to a point at some point in your life where change is a constant. You have to see that change will always happen, and that things will always move and fade and come close and look for distance. And it is very hard to live a happy life if you are clingy to a moment, to an experience, to like with a person. So if you can change that mindset and know that change is a given, then you won't waste energy and time in trying to fight or resist it. You can see change as a positive thing. There's always negatives, but there's always a positive side too. And you can train your brain like a muscle to see the positive sides. Then strengthen your confidence muscle. I want to talk about next. How do we do that? Put yourself in a position where you feel confident, and next time you experience that, really feel how you feel in that moment and memorize it. So let's think about a cook who has been thrown into a kitchen where there's just 50% of the ingredients that he or she usually uses, but in the past he learned to cook with minimal ingredients and learned to be very creative. So that person now is being thrown into a kitchen with not enough ingredients, and you will see that he will not panic right away. He will remember how it felt to be creative in the moment with only few resources in the past, and will be able to apply it now in the present. So this is how you can strengthen your confidence muscle. Do something that you're really good at, memorize that feeling, and then try something new and try to apply that confident feeling into that situation. And you will see you will approach that new hobby, that new experience very, very differently and with a way more open mind, with less anxiety, and you'll do awesome. Then have that question always ready. So whenever you are in a situation you don't want to be, ask yourself right away, what would make you feel good now? And then you reflect and you see, and hopefully it's not binge eating, binge watching Netflix. Hopefully you can even go back to my previous episodes where I talk about how good are you with yourself, where I provide you with tools that are genuinely supporting your well-being. So in that situation, you find yourself not knowing what to do next, then look back, ask your question, what would make you feel good now? And then act upon it right away. It is very individual for everybody, like very different. So for one person, meeting up with people is energizing and awesome. And for other people, it might simply be draining. Then we have the super sporty people who use sport to, get rid of that stuck energy, and movement just helps them greatly to feel good about themselves. And then we have people who'd rather be meditating or sitting at home on a couch and just reflecting and resting and maybe massaging their feet. So there's very, very different ways of taking care of yourself. And with this podcast here, I just want to, provide you with the tools and make you aware and make you curious about yourself and your needs and how you can meet those needs. So let's look about 3 areas that we can kind of dissect out of your well-being. There's the mental, then there's the emotional, and the physical. If you want to go back to my episode where I talk about your tools that you can use on a daily to make you feel better, then please go back. It is called How Good Are You With Yourself? How Kind Are You With Yourself? It's pretty much at the beginning, like episode number 3 or something. And there you can pick out what is best for you, what makes you feel good. So that question, what would make you feel good now, is the one that I want you to take home today. So we have the mental, the physical, and the emotional. And when it comes to the mental, we have some people who love to plan and have like a sense of control and structure. They absolutely love that and can go to bed relaxed at night. And then there's people who love to live in the moment and let things happen, and spontaneous is their thing to go. To support yourself mentally, a big thing is also to ask for support. Ask someone who is professional in the area that you struggle with. There's no shame in it. I feel that our society is drifting more and more into you having to be independent and individualist. But we are a social species. We highly depend on each other. And asking for support is a beautiful thing, which can help your mental health and your mental resilience in a situation that is uncomfortable. And it can be a counselor, it can be an architect, it can be a teacher, it can be any person who is a professional in the area that you're struggling with. When it comes to the physical, take action and look at your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is highly influencing your well-being. I talked about it, about your food and water intake and the way, like how we do those daily rituals, let's call them, highly influences how resilient you are in stressful situations. It's so obvious when you look at it from an outsider perspective that a person that is struggling with weight, with diabetes, with confidence and self-image will have it way more difficult in a stressful situation than a person that has a healthy body and feels confident and steps out into this world feeling good about him or herself. So, which are the lifestyles that are supporting your best interests, and how can you get back to that and work on your resilience on a physical level? Then we have the emotional part, and there it is very critical to learn how to express yourself in a way that people can and want to listen to you. I talked about it earlier, about aggression and how aggression is not the way to bring a point to the table, is not a way you can bring people to listen to you. So if you are in a situation where you struggle, it is very important to learn how the other person will receive your message and then adapt and express yourself in a way that the other person will receive it well and support you. And then listen to your inner truth and really ask yourself, what is the best for me to do here? Do I just have to leave that situation? Do I just have to be patient? Do I just have to come to accept that change is a big part of life and will always be a constant? Is my inner truth fight or flight, or can I rest and relax and just wait and see? So, this was my episode about resilience. I hope I brought you some things to think about here and also feel good about, because you are in charge of your happiness and you have to look into yourself, what is best to you in a given situation. Sometimes we can't look at family and friends because they are so very different, and you can't be limited by beliefs of others. You have your own truth, and please follow that always at all times. I'm sending my love out to you. You were listening to the Borealis Experience. If you like that episode, please share, rate, or review, and we'll be meeting up very soon again. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.